What up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mo.J. We are locked in. This is episode 8, Indiana Autumn of the Underground Railroad. Real quick, if you guys hear a dog howling or barking in the background, trust me, I'm not a runaway. I'm legit. I just got my window open and the dog on the balcony next to me be going off. But last episode, we had Fanny Briggs, young Gracie. Now, we know she got on the train, she got up out of there, but we want to know, where is Cora? Where did Cora go? Because that's where Gracie wants to go. But before we get into that, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you may be a part of this, hit your subscribe button, turn your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button. It's the easiest thing you can do. Now, I know y'all tired of hearing that, but we got to do it. All right, now in this episode, there's a little bit of strange things towards the end, but I'm going to break it down as best as I can. And you know, don't nobody work harder than I do when it comes to these recaps, so I'm not going to hold y'all up. This is episode 8, Indiana Autumn, the recap. We start the episode off in a nice little vineyard. Got the nice purple grapes. They looking ripe. Now, we are in Indiana. I've been to Indiana one time. Not a place for black folk, but we're in Indiana. And it looks like we got us some successful black people up here. We growing grapes. So, you know, we making wine. We about to pull up. You have all these black folk and they're actually working. They're making wine. You got people chopping up wood. And in the background, you hear, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. Now, if you don't know, that's the Declaration of Independence. I used to know like the first paragraph of it when I was younger, because I'm a weirdo like that, man. I just like history. But you hear a young girl in the background reading this, and it's showing that we're all created equal. Everyone in this town in Indiana, all these black folk, they're working like white folk with no problems, no issues. We get to see the young lady that's reading the Declaration of Independence. One thing that this signifies is, one, that we are created equal, but two, that they're giving the kids an opportunity to read, write, and to actually learn things within this little tight-knit community of black folk. So that's always a positive. The best thing that we can do, doesn't matter how much money we make, but it's always to teach the kids something, because they're going to be here tomorrow when we aren't. Man, I should have been a teacher. We have what appears to be the leader of this community, Mr. John, and he gets up there and he tells Molly, thanks for reading this and reciting this for us. And just like I was saying, he tells everybody that this is the future. The kids are always going to be smarter than what we were today. So this is the future and we got to move forward. Now, anybody with slick hair like that, they're one, either the boss, or two, they a crime boss. But either way, they the boss of something. But this man, John, he appears to be legit. We get to meet Miss Georgina. Now, Miss Georgina looks like she holds some weight around here. But real quick, y'all smell that? That barbecue smell good. But Cora has a good question that she wants to ask. Do those kids, they read and write so well, but do they know those words in that they're reading? Now, Georgina explains, like I was saying earlier, they may not understand what these big words mean now, but tomorrow they will. And what they're doing is they're showing these kids that the world is good. But the analogy that she uses with Cora is, you trust that a map is right, but you don't know that map is right until you actually get out there and try it for yourself. Now, what they're trying to do is unlearn all the slavery from the kids, so they don't go into the world with a negative mindset. This is giving them a better chance to go further in their future than what the older people did now, if that makes any sense. So she knows, and she admits that she's black in America, and she knows that we're not equal to white folk, but that's what we're trying to get to. That's what we're projecting out to. So that's all she's explaining to Cora. But let's go get some of that barbecue. I'm talking about we are cookout ready, man. I'm assuming this is a Sunday cookout because everybody got on their finest. They got the men out there with the violins. Now they got the crunkest classical music you could ever hear. My brother used to play violin. I played trumpet, so I would have been out there jamming too. But you got the whole town out here. We about to eat real good. Georgina gets up and she gives a speech. And this speech is pretty much, you guys remember John that was talking to Molly. Now, John is the head overseer of this place. And he's actually went into town and negotiated the deed for this land. And Georgina is saying, no matter where we go moving forward from here, we just want to take the time and thank John for this, and also us building a better community so we can move forward and we can keep this going where all of us are quote unquote equal. You know what I'm saying? They're living a good life here. They don't have any white folk over here. They're not getting bothered by the white folk in town. They negotiated a good deal for this land. Let's keep it that way and let's be grateful for it. Hey, don't act new, y'all. Grab somebody hand next to you. We got to say prayer before we get in this hog. You know what I'm saying? Hog, corn. We got cornbread. We got everything out here. We got the fixings. And we even got some wine for you, for the adults. This gentleman on the right is Mingo. We all know Royal. Royal is the guy that helped save Cora from Ridgway's house. Now, Mingo comes over with his wine. He's talking about, hey, brother, you may have brought too much trouble on us. And what he's saying is, this land that we have, we negotiated with the people, the white folk. But if you keep bringing in runaways, killers, they're going to look at us and they might shut this down. So we're going to have a vote on if Cora or anybody else can stay here, because we have a tight-knit community. They know all of us. So bringing in outsiders, you know how it is. The more people come in, the more ruckus is going to be. And he does say, you're doing a good job, Royal, but we got to slow it down. We can't keep bringing in all these people. And Royal tells him, I understand that, but we all get to vote on this. So you already know what my vote is. But it is up to us to get Cora to tell her story. We all have a story, so we all need to be able to tell our story. And that's when everybody's giving their testimony in these books, so they can have documentation of what happened, so we can tell the future generations, this is where we came from. We have a gentleman start to read some poetry. John's like, hey, we're going to have some good poetry. Everybody, you guys are well fed. And while he's doing this, Cora starts to listen to his words, and she starts to think back about her and Caesar, and she walks away from the table because she has a lot on her mind. We know she's been on the road non-stop. I told you, they got them violins and cellos, everybody leaning back, they got their wine. Hey, we partying today. I don't care what Cora and Royal over there doing, we partying today. Mr. Brooks was the one reading the poetry. Now, him and Georgina, they got a little thing going on. So he goes over and she's like, hey, you read so well, Mr. Brooks. If I gave you my sorrows, would you make them sound good? And he's like, I certainly would. And I'm over by the shed hating because I was going to try to talk to Georgina, but I don't know no poetry. So he gets down on one knee and proposes to her. I'm like, damn. Back to work I go. Cora walked away from the dinner table, and Royal actually came over there. He starts to explain to her about how Mingo feels. Of course, we're in Indiana, so we're further away from the slave states, but he doesn't feel that, we should be bringing in people, even though it's the right thing to do. But he's telling Cora, don't worry about it, because I have a vote on it, and a lot of people have votes for this, so we're going to do our best to keep you here. After he explains this, now it's time to make his move. He starts talking to her, okay. You know what I'm saying? I know you've been through some things, but you're safe here. And you look so cute when you smile like that. She's like, oh, really? So now they getting a flirt on. Okay, Royal was, he was in the ear. He was talking that stuff to Cora. He had her out past the sunset. You know, a true gentleman brings a woman home by sunset. But Royal said, nah. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep her out just a little bit longer. But they take her back to the cabin that she's staying in. And we also get introduced into a Miss Sybil. Now, I'm assuming Miss Sybil is like the oldest lady there. I won't say the oldest, but the head lady there that looks out for everybody. Okay, you'll stay here. You'll do this. You do this. You know, like a nanny type. All right, pay attention, people. We got to break down exactly what's going down in Indiana. We have Mr. John here sitting down on our right. In the middle, we have John's assistant, and we have the judge of Indiana, well, of this town at least. Now, what they have going on is John, he made the deal to get the land. Now, they also produce the wine. Now, the deal that they have with the judges, they produce wine and they make sure his wine cellar stays full. And in return, what the judge does for them is no slave catcher can come onto the land without a federal judge signing off on it. So they'll get the heads up. But that's the reason why Mingo was saying, hey, we can't keep bringing all these people because the judge might start being like, nah, I'm not doing that for everybody. So just remember that. Cora finally got her little job. She's working out with the cows, but she also brings water out to the people working out in the field on the grapes. Now we see Royal. He's over here grinning from ear to ear because the girl he likes is here. He got his little scarf on tied up because when it get hot, But in between this, some slave captures show up and Cora books it. Royal chases her down and he tries to tell her, hey, chill. They're not here for you. And that's when he goes into the details about what the judge is doing. We do the wine for the judge. The judge won't sign off on any slaves being captured here. So he's telling her, you're safe here. What Georgina was doing was just pointing to these white folks saying, hey, these are our grapes here. This is our vineyard. This is what we do. If you want to work with us, okay. But Cora didn't know that, so she just took off. It's what you call a quid pro quo. You know, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Kind of like what your boy Trump was doing with Ukraine. He in trouble for that. But that's what's going on here. And I'm pretty sure if anyone found out the judge was doing this, he would be in trouble too. Cora, you know, her heart's still racing because I don't care what nobody's saying. You may say we safe here, but if I see some white folk coming and I know I'm gonna run away, man, I'm on high alert. But Royal comes and talks to her. Now, she's been drawing, and she's doing a hell of a job with this drawing. She's drawing all the states, but in each state, she has a name of somebody that passed. So she's just leaving a trail of dead bodies. In Georgia, we had Lovey. South Carolina, Caesar. North Carolina, Grace. She doesn't know that Grace is alive. Tennessee, Jasper. So it's just a trail of dead people. And Royal's like, you came all this way on the train? She's like, yeah. Royal knows all the stress and everything that's on Cora's shoulders. So what he tells her is, I know tomorrow is a day for working, but I want to go show you some stuff, you know, just to clear your mind for a little bit. And sometimes you just need that. Just like we all have the weekend. Some of us be like, man, we need a third, fourth day of this weekend, man. 2 days ain't long enough. He's just trying to get Cora to clear her mind and actually talk to him, open up a little bit. Cora comes from the deep, deep South. You gotta remember, she's from Georgia. We're all the way up in Indiana. And she's like, I never seen that many black folk with guns before. And what Royal was trying to explain to her, oh, that's in the Constitution. We got the right to bear arms. See, so they're teaching the kids, hey, this is the law. This is what we should all be following on the level playing field. Black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. But Cora's like, I never seen this many black folk. He shows her his gun. Is like, use this. Try it one time. He takes Cora out to empty field. And I'm talking about this gun gotta have like an 18-inch barrel. You do not want to get hit by this. If you ain't dying because of the bullet, you dying because of hepatitis. This thing is going through you. But she goes out there and she starts shooting. She's like, oh, this is kind of hard. He's like, what you got to do is you'll get used to it. But you got to just visualize what you're shooting at and make sure that that's what you really want to shoot. And then you look at Cora, she pow, pow. She looking like a pro now. Look at that face. That ain't somebody you want to get in front of. Cora pissed off with a gun, go the other way. Just go the other way. She explains to him that everything she's been through is very heavy, and he's saying, I can understand that. So he also takes her to this abandoned building a little bit further in the woods because he wants to show her something. Now, when he gets there, he has to dig up something, and you're like, what is going on here? But it's actually an underground tunnel. Now, if you remember in the very first episode where you see them falling down the tunnel, and it's a long ladder, this is what she was dreaming of here. Now, it's a long way down in this thing. And he's like, Miss Cora, you want to go? You see how deep this thing is? Got to be at least 100, 200 feet deep. But it's a ladder, and it's just a free falling ladder. It's not against the wall or anything. So you get the rocking on that thing, it's over with. Once they get down there, he shows Cora, see, black people are amazing. They can do stuff. And we do have a lot of black architects. But what this is, it's another tunnel, part of the railroad. But this part wasn't finished, and it's a little bit smaller, but it connects to the larger railroad. He also explains, well, this side isn't finished because they kind of stopped it. That's why everything was buried up in the abandoned house. But it was built before I got here, and it's up to us to try to keep this going on. Now, one thing we know about Royal, and we've seen it with Mingo, Royal wants to keep this train going because he wants to keep bringing in more blacks. Let's bring in more blacks. If we can free one slave a day, that's better than no slaves because everybody needs to be free. But he wants to know if Cora wants to be a part of it. Since Cora, she's been from Georgia all the way up to Indiana. She's seen more train than anybody has. And that's the reason Royal wants her to come along. And she's like, oh, no, I don't want any parts of this. I'm just a passenger. But no, Cora, you have a story. You know the way around here. You know, you've been on here. You may not have to go on every trip, but we need your help. And that's Royal's thing about helping out other black folk. Cora's starting to get a little selfish here. Now, I know she wants to stay here and survive, but come on. You give an opportunity to help others out. Me personally, I jump on top of it. I'm not even going to lie to you. He walks over, grabs her hand and tells her, if you don't want to be a part of it, then don't. It's just as simple as that. I'm just asking for your help because you know. Now, Cora kind of gets upset with this and she yanks her hand. Don't touch me, and goes up. Hey, man, this dude saved your life. He's just asking for help to free other people. Come on, man. This is getting real selfish here, Cora. Now, it appears that Cora starts having a flashback of everybody. You had the first runaway slave that was caught on fire. She's starting to think of Cora and everything. But then they randomly show her with the gun in front of Royal and she shoots him. Like, what is going on here? This gotta be a dream. Now, this is the part you guys are probably going to hate me on because I'm kind of falling out with liking Cora because Royal comes and tells her, hey, there's another train leaving. We would like your help on this. Is everything all right with you? And Cora just flips it. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I told you that I'm all right. My thing is, Royal saved your life, brought you here, and this is how you're treating him? He told you that you were safe here. He convinced the people to let you stay here. He saved you. And this is how you're treating him? You're ungrateful. So that's my only argument with Cora. I understand the survival and everything, but Royal was asking for help. After everything he did for you, you were locked up in the house in the bed with Ridgeway, and he came and got you. Then he talked to Mingo and said, "No, I'm keeping her here." And this is how you treat him? I'm sorry, I'm rambling, people, but I just don't like ungrateful people. I'm sorry. We know Royal was interested in her. We know Royal likes Cora. So he asked her, hey, they need a third, and if you don't want to go, I might go. But if you don't want me to go, then say it. And she looks him dead in the eye and says, go do what you need to do. What? Royal, yeah, best time you just worry about something else, man. Don't even worry about it. Let Cora stay here. You saved her. Go help other people out, man. Don't even waste your time anymore. You did your job like a good man's supposed to do. Cora, you're on my bad side this episode. I'm sorry. Later on that evening, she goes back into the house. Now, Miss Sybil's in there and Molly. Now, Miss Sybil, I told you she's like the head lady. And then we have Molly, the young, intelligent girl that was reading the Declaration of Independence in the room. Mind you, Cora is the only one that's been from Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee to Indiana. She takes the little map that she drew of all the locations she was at and burns it, pretty much saying, I'm safe. I'm done with this. Who cares about anybody else? It appears that later on in the night, Cora gets up in the middle of the night. She walks back to that abandoned house. She starts undigging it, and we see her climbing down the ladder. I wonder what Cora's about to do. Cause hey, she ain't authorized in there by herself. She goes down into the tunnel and we see the bright light of a train. She hops on this train and she rides this train to the nearest train station. Man, this underground railroad is bigger than we thought. The train gets to the main train station and you just see all kinds of colored folk down there and they just walking around. It's like, okay, it's a nice little place here. We didn't really did it up. You got the big bulletin board that gives you the itinerary when trains come, what train is closed, which station is going to next. And it's a pretty nice establishment. Cora's walking around. No one's really talking here. Everyone looks like they know where they're going and they're handling business, which makes me think that this is a dream. So everyone's just walking. They're doing what they need to do. Cora actually takes the elevator upstairs into the main lobby. We see this young gentleman here, and then you just see everyone else walking around. But she goes up to the ticket station because she wants to, hey, I need to get up out of here. I want to go further north. When she gets to the gate, she's talking to the ticket lady, and the lady's asking her, are you free or are you a runaway? And Cora's like, well, I don't really know. So she said, okay, well, where'd you come from? She's like, Georgia. She said, Georgia? That's a long ride. Have you gave your testimony anywhere? And she's like, yeah, I did. In all these other places. And the lady said, did you give one here in Indiana? Because we need one in Indiana if you're going to get on the train. So the lady tells Cora, we need a testimony from everybody that's going to get on this train. If not, then you can't go anywhere. So she checks the Indiana book. Cora. Oh, no, we ain't got nothing from you. So you just got to stay here. And Cora's like, stay here? Well, I don't know anybody. And the ticket lady tells her, just like I would told her, our parents didn't know nobody when they came here. I didn't know nobody when I was born here. That's what you meet people and you interact for. So what she's telling Cora is, this is a safe place. Just stay put and make the best of what you have, because this situation is probably going to be better than whatever situation you go into. People, don't miss out on something trying to go to the next best thing. If something is good for you now, stick to it, because you never know what's on the other side. The grass isn't always greener. And in this case, a slave isn't always freer. Cora understands she can't really leave now. Now she sits down, and this is the lady that was on the elevator that took her up. And Cora's like, hey, well, is the rest of the world out there? And the lady, she kind of makes a joke. Yeah, the rest of the world's out there. What do you think, this is the moon? Come on, Cora. Cora goes up to the swinging doors where she wants to know, hey, is the rest of the world out there? And when she gets there, she hears a baby crying. But when she opens the door, it takes her into a dark room with a locked door. So I'm like, what? This gotta be a dream, because we just went from the train station into a little outhouse, and now we're trying to get in another door. Once she gets back through this door, she's on the main floor, the main station. Remember I told you it had the itinerary behind it, the big bulletin board that gives you the time? And once she gets here, she starts to see everybody just standing there, and they're just looking at her. But they start to part, and guess who we see at the other end? Good old Caesar, my man. They start dancing, and you know this right here is a sentimental moment. So he's telling her how beautiful she looks, and she's saying he looks the same. And she's just asking, how long is this? What all do I have to go through to make it? And he's just saying, you gotta live with what you got. You gotta make the best of everything you have now, because you're further away from what you came from, and this is just better. Now she's finally starting to understand, I need to move forward with my life and take advantage of the opportunities that are right here in front of me, and here in Indiana. Just as I expected, there was a lot of stuff going on in this series that showed us the seriousness of the Underground Railroad. So all this going in between times, and I just thought it was a dream. But Cora actually wakes up, and that dream, it actually got to her. So the first thing she does, she gets up, and she's about to go talk to Royal, because like I said, she was coming off as ungrateful. This man did everything he could to save you, show you a better life. He is interested. You may not be interested in him, but at least give him the courtesy of talking to him and helping him out. Whether it's writing down maps and telling them locations or something, you don't have to actually get on the train, but help this brother out, because he helped you. He kept you alive. There's a gentleman over in the little shack right next to it, and he's looking at her like, hey, yeah, Royal, he left early this morning, packed up real good. Looks like he's gone on official business. Cora's like, well, how long he's gone for? And he's like, man, I don't know. I ain't his assistant. I ain't his manager. I don't know. But he gone though. So now Cora's looking at it like, dang, he left. Well, yes, Cora, you showed him that you didn't want anything to do with him, so he went on about his life like I recommended him to do. Never, ever, fellas, if they tell you no, that's not what they want, leave it alone. Go on about your life, man. It ain't for you. All they're gonna do is slow you down. She goes in this spot. She's looking around. Now she's feeling bad. Like, dang, I passed up on something good. He went out there on his own with these other two gentlemen. He may get hurt. I may never see him again. That'll be someone else I lost. And then we'll have Lovey, Caesar, Grace, Jasper, and Royal all on her because she didn't want to help out. But I think she's getting to it, and I think Royal's going to make it back to her. There you go. Episode 8, The Underground Railroad, Indiana Autumn. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Royal made the right decision on going ahead and going about his business to help out other blacks? Let me know. I know you guys know where I stand. But hey, I'm Mo.J. If you like the content on the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Stay tuned for episode 9 and 10, The Underground Railroad recaps. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.